So hello, it's been a little while. It's the end of the year and things are starting to wind down for 2025, and obviously a chance to reflect on how the year has gone. And it feels, for me, it's been a fabulous creative roller coaster. It's been more hits than misses, definitely. I think 2025 for a lot of people has been really tough, but for me personally, I have to look back on it fondly with a smile. And it's saying that knowing that I started this video channel in the attempt to chart a successful journey to my return to the children's book publishing market, and that's just not happened. That's been one of the misses. But in the space that it leaves, I've somehow become a full-time illustrator working for a fabulous group of people who are passionate about visual communication, and I get to do such fun work, a variety of work with some really lovely people. That suits a lot of my style as well, which makes me think, that the children's book publishing market can sit and wait, and that's fine. And if it turns out that's where I want to spend my time, I can on more personal projects rather than looking for something that has to pay the bills. I'm paying the bills. I'm an illustrator. I just need to pinch myself that it's actually real, and that a full-time illustrator on staff, not freelancing, it's pretty rare. So very, very grateful for that. And that means for 2026, I think I might turn my attention to more personal projects, and maybe it's time to start entering a few art prizes and stop thinking about how nice it would be to enter one of those, or to look wistfully upon those who are working towards them, and maybe join that. That sounds like a fun project for me, which means the channel can sort of pivot to sort of just following my creative journey a little bit more than it is about working out how I get back into the children's book market. So 2025 comes to a close. 2026 has lots of promise, but I wanted to finish off by sharing with you something that seemed to resonate quite strongly with a number of people, and that was my trees, my 30-day tree challenge that I set myself, which opened up a lot of discussion and interest, and I was really, really happy about that. And I thought it might be nice to go through the sketchbook that I filled up during that 30-day challenge, and just comment on a few here and there. I won't make it too long. And yes, that sounds like a nice way to wrap up 2025. And for those of you who've been following, I'm in my 30-day dragon challenge at the moment. That's going really, really well, and it's just so much fun just to sit down and think about dragons, and sometimes looking at other people's dragons and being inspired by those. And I think my next 30-day challenge I'm already thinking about might be about giants. So I'm just putting that out there. That's where my next thought is. But if you have an idea for a 30-day challenge that I could take on, let me know in the comments. That would be amazing. Okay, so let's go over there and we might have a look at my 30-day tree challenge sketchbook. So let's take a wander through 30 days of a tree challenge and see if we can notice anything. I certainly had some particular styles and themes that I was drawn to, but then along the way I discovered this fabulous calligraphy pen, which changed a few things for me. And then I started to drift back to some of the things I was more comfortable in. So I'm interested to see if you notice the changes as well. So the very first one, again, the twisted Gothic trees are the sorts of things that are really easy for me to just let my mind wander and draw. And this is with a pretty cheap pen in the end, before I switched to the Lamy Safari. And so the idea is I thought I might try and do for each day a few thumbnails just to get things warmed up, and then work on something that was a little bit more detailed. And I'll just step through these, and I'll stop as I see things that draw my attention. But these were all done with the Lamy Safari pen. And again, just having a little bit of fun with the whole twisted tree with the bark and the lines of the twisting lines in the bark, sort of telling that story of these contorted limbs. And obviously, at some point, I was drawn to draw a tree man. An ent, for all of you Lord of the Rings fans out there, or my take on an ent. So this is where I discovered the Pentel calligraphy pen, which allows these big blocks of dark to be laid down. So the Lamy Safari pen straight into this one here. You can just see straight away I was getting these fantastic big fat shadow shapes on there, which were really exciting. I didn't know how it was going to come out, because it's not the easiest pen to use at the very start. But I was really happy with the sort of the mood of these. And when you have the pen on its side, you can draw very thin lines, and then you can just sort of make it thicker and fatter as you go. And sort of twisting as I was drawing, was sort of just creating these happy little bumps and changes in value. So some of these trees, well, actually most of these trees, are just straight out of my head. But in some cases inspired by things I can see out my backyard, or when I'm traveling around. I was really I think this might have been the one that I did the demo on. Rings a bell. Not all of them are fantastic. Like this one just was a bit of a train wreck, really, but it's okay. There was the exercise of doing this every day that I was really enjoying. It was a nice little bit of quiet time to myself, 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, just drawing trees. Pretty happy with that. These ones I drew with some little young people's assistance, with ideas like, oh, you should have some dinosaur skeleton bones underneath, or how about one next to a river. So it was nice to get some ideas there. I like this one, little hole in the hollow oak tree. This one was just, again, from my memory, but of a particular tree that I used to pass on the way to work all the time, and I drew it quite a few times in pencil and silver point, and it kind of committed its shape to memory. It's not exactly that, but certainly inspired by that. Again, lots of twists, lots of contortions. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, it seems pretty flat there. The pen that allows me to put down these big blocks of black certainly can help shortcut the way to adding some interesting value where the light and the darks might be. All right, so again, just from my imagination, these ones, but this one absolutely a study from a tree outside the place where we were staying for band camp. If you haven't heard about band camp, just go back a few videos and you'll see how much fun that was for me. And again, this one was inspired by a walk that we used to do in the mornings, and there was some fantastic twisted trees down by the creek there. Again, some quick thumbnail ones, and then something that was a little bit more, had a little bit more to it. I was surprised I didn't do more of these sort of fantasy style ones with doors and windows and fairies peeking behind, but I was just sort of pretty much enraptured with trees altogether. I realised I had done a lot of twisted thin trunks, so I thought, well, what's a straight trunk going to look like? What's a big fat trunk going to look like? This one didn't quite work, but I still like aspects of it, particularly the hints of what might be grass or some kind of scrub that the tree's coming out of. Now these ones were from studies from a book that I bought, Arthur Guptill's Rendering in Pen and Ink. So I mean, this was great. So I picked up a few different tips on how to draw more with fewer lines. I kind of like this one in particular. And this one just a study in how you can change the depth of the shadow by just how closely the lines are drawn together. So you can sort of see as the light sort of rolling around this mass of the canopy of this particular tree, or the foliage of this tree. We just sort of imagine it like a sphere. As the light is striking this side, you can see that it's all nice and white, and then as it sort of turns around to the parts where it's more in shadow, the lines are closer together. Yeah, pretty simple, but effective. Keep walking through these two trees in my backyard. How great. I've just been staring at them, having my cup of tea for so long. I thought, oh, I haven't even drawn them yet. I really like this one. This is again where I sort of started drawing something, and then there was a part of it that looked like, oh, that looks like it could be a face in the tree. So I started turning it into a proper face, and then I thought there might be some little person coming to have a chat with the tree man. Get some of the stories that might come out of that. This was a kind of a reaction to my noticing that in a lot of my drawings, the leaves pretty much just start up near the top. But when you look at more and more trees, you know, there's all sorts of places where the leaves start to branch out much lower down on the trunk. So it's like that was dead tree. And it's, again, sort of playing around with some story ideas. I really kind of like this one, cute. It could go in a children's book somewhere. This one, again, inspired by the Guptill book. An idea for some abandoned stone keep where the plant life has taken over, and this big tree has just decided to climb up and grow over the top. This one was a Miyazaki study. I think it's sort of a Ghibli inspired tree. And I kind of like this one too. This was just playing around with angles and stone walls and big behemoth style trees hiding behind those walls. A bit of ink wash added in this case, just to play around again with different ways of representing the values. This one just lots of dashed lines. And started to spread out. I really like this one as a double page spread. Again, sort of always starting on one side, leaning one direction, and then always sort of bringing the tree back around. But sometimes it works where you decide where the branches are going to go. I kind of like this one. And I really like this one too. There's again ink wash added over the end, and it's sort of dark in certain places, but not so dark that you can't see the texture of the line work that I had underneath it. And I just like the shape of the leaves that I chose for this particular one. So that's one of my faves. Tried to recreate magic, did not work on that one. And again, sort of playing around with different ideas of representing what trees might look like. I realised I hadn't really done a lot of firs. The classic fallen log, a tree in silhouette. Inspired by Shel Silverstein's Giving Tree. Didn't quite get it right. Chopped off our poor little boy's feet, but never mind. This one just, again, out of my mind, but inspired by some things I'd seen on some walks, and just a recognition that in some of these trees, in the place where the main branches sort of branch off, there might often be little twigs and other things that are sort of growing out at that space, or leaf litter that collects in the gaps, and other things might grow from that. So I was just trying to create something that was a little bit more chaotic in that one. This one is not meant to be a social commentary. It is just two trees that are leaning in towards each other with their branches entwined. And again, sort of like leaning away from each other, but at the same time reaching out to touch each other. And I think this might be the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. And I was really, really happy with the way this one ended. I had thought that I might add some leaves and some foliage to this, or maybe do a little bit more work on the textural components for it. And then at some point I looked at it and went, no, stop. It's great now. Don't do any more. Sometimes you have to listen to that voice. So there you go. 30-day tree challenge. Can recommend. So much fun. And it's something at least to get me drawing, but drawing trees is something that's very food for the soul, it feels like. So there you have it. We'll do a short and sweet outro for this one. It's the end of the year, so end of the video. I really, really, really appreciate all of the wonderful support that I've had this year from people who have commented, liked, subscribed, and it basically created this fantastic sense of community around this very, very small channel. And I'm hoping to continue it. I'm hoping it will grow and that people will continue to offer suggestions and feedback. It's what really helps me get going with these sorts of creative projects. I hope 2026 starts exceptionally well for everybody, that you set yourself some realistic creative goals, that you find some time every day to do some drawing or some painting or at least even some thinking or writing. Give yourself that privilege and see how much it improves your well-being. I'll be surprised if it doesn't. I'll see you in 2026. Thanks again.